This is Rock Bottom with Ryan. No sugarcoating, no filters. The pain, the chaos, the truth. No bullshit. Just recovery.
Sober Strong apparel isn't just lifestyle wear, it's battle gear. Heavyweight tees, hoodies, and gear for the ones who draw a hard line. Clean, sober, no compromise. We rep sobriety like a badge of honor, and every piece you throw on says you're part of the crew that doesn't back down. Every order fuels recovery with 10% donated to treatment facilities, because we don't just talk about it, we stand on it.
All right, welcome to Rock Bottom with Ryan. I'm here with Mike today, and he's joining me over from Florida. Mike, would you like to kind of introduce yourself? Tell me just a little basic background of where you're from in Florida, what you do, and all that.
Well, I'm originally from Boston. I lived in Miami for about 5 years now. I was here in my early 20s as well. I've lived in LA, lived in Texas for a little bit, lived in Vegas, but Florida has always been my main go-to. My aunt talked me into coming back here because she knows this is where I really do well.
Awesome. What do you do over in Florida right now for the last 5 years?
I was working at the airport for a little while, and then recently I just got a job working at a mental health facility. I'm just doing their billing and working in their office department, the Key Clubhouse of South Florida. So I do that, and I'm working on my app, which we'll talk about that at some point.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to hear more about that.
I know,
actually.
it's really taken off.
That's pretty cool.
I can't believe it hasn't been done yet. I've been sitting on the idea for a few years
now. It's a really creative idea, and it's something that people like me could
I got the patent in March, and I was like, I'm not getting the patent for this. Someone has this out there, and they're just not doing anything with it. Like, I was surprised. Like, I still have a hard time believing that I'm the only person in recovery that's come up with this idea. I
know. I think it's honestly
it's such a simple idea. I got that in the LLC I did on LegalZoom. I got it in March. Like, I've been sitting on the idea for a few years now. We'll talk about how I came into it in a little bit.
Yeah, let's kind of backtrack to the days in Boston and kind of you're about what my age, like 38 or something right now.
Yeah, I'll be 39 next month. I'm an old man.
Yeah. Awesome.
Time to get it's about time I get my shit together, right?
Same here. I didn't change my life around until I was.
Congrats on a year. Yeah, I saw you just got that.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it was a big deal. And then the day I hit my 1 year, I got sick with pneumonia, so that was a nice little reward. So, but yeah, let's backtrack to like days in Boston. My co-host is from Boston, which is cool. So I hear a little bit about it.
Well, I grew up mostly on the Cape. I just say Boston because people don't really know Cape Cod. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yeah, I mean, I live in a small town in Idaho, but I always just say it's close to Seattle, Washington, and something like that. Yeah. But yeah, so what was your childhood like? You know, like how did you grow up?
I grew up with my mom. My mom was an active user, so my dad wasn't really around. He came back when I was like 18. My mom didn't want me seeing him because I got in some kind of argument I don't really want to talk about, and she got me from him. But both my parents were addicts. My dad got sober. My mom did not. This is her 10-year anniversary of her passing from a heroin overdose. I swear she's like helping me make my business happen because this has really been a fun year. I swear she's like I know that may sound weird, but
Not
I swear
at all,
to God,
no.
she's like making this happen for me. It's really cool.
I believe that. It's kind of my thought when it comes to this podcast. You know, I always have my little sister in mind, and she passed away of a fentanyl overdose 4 years ago. And I always keep her in mind. I'm like, gosh, you know, I don't have experience with fentanyl, but, you know, whatever I can do to help the recovery community, and they help me back, you know, it all just, you know, comes full circle all the time. Every day.
It does, I believe. Yeah, God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. So you grew up with your mom. How old were you when she passed away? When you were like 27, 28?
I was in my late 20s, so about 28. Yeah, I was living in LA at the time, and I knew it was going to happen at one point because she couldn't really stop using. It really got bad when I moved out and was on my own because she couldn't really hide it from me. So I knew like when she was using. So it became more obvious that it was really getting out of control because she couldn't hide it.
Yeah, exactly. So she tried to keep it at least slightly under wraps when you were around, and then when you were out of the house, she had all the freedom in the world. Kind of.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. Just
That's
so
okay. She's made it up to me in other ways since she's passed. I know that may sound weird, but I know when she's around and she's
no,
humming
it
some
doesn't
type
sound
shit.
weird, man. Their presence is here as
I
long as
know.
you
I
as
believe in
long
that
as we
shit
believe in it.
100%.
Same. I get emotional sometimes when I have a good, things go well with this podcast and like I have a good day and stuff. I'm like, Devin's up there. She's proud of me. She's part of this.
She's
But
helped me do a few ODs I've told you about before, blacking up on the bus and just waking up in the ER, like switching
yeah,
buses at a bus station in a blackout and going to the ER and just waking up there and be like, how did I get here? This
yeah,
happened a few times. Yeah, I don't even know how I'm alive. I swear my mother
yeah.
helped me do that.
No, I want to know like kind of how did it start then with your use and like how did it
It
progress
started
into
in
where
my
you were?
it started in my early 20s. It started a lot with coke and Adderall and just doing stimulants. And I have ADHD, so I was prescribed Adderall at a young
Yeah,
age. So I got addicted to my body got addicted to uppers a lot. So, and then when I got in my early 20s, that's when it started getting out of control. Like thinking, oh, I needed to clean the house or I needed to do this because my body was so used to always having it in my system that my brain was like, oh yeah, you need it to function. You need the Adderall to clean the apartment. You need to do this. You need to do that. And really, you don't. It's just your mind tricking you. I've been off it for a while and I'm more happier off it.
yeah. Did you were prescribed Adderall like me too? So was it tough to kind of taper off of that? And did you have like a big come down when you got off of that, like I did?
Yes, I needed it for work, but once I got in my 30s, like I realized I didn't really need it that much. I was able to focus more, but my brain was like saying, "Oh, you need it, you need it, you need it." Like,
Yeah,
I flipped my mother's house when I inherited it, and I did it on Adderall, like popping 230s a day, and just painted a whole
yeah.
house,
That's what
flipped it, and everything. Yep.
I was prescribed 230s a day. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would. I
2 those
never.
in
I
the
never.
morning and take a Red Bull and go paint a house for a day, go do landscaping. I flipped my mom's whole house in like a
You can
week
get a
on
lot of
Adderall.
shit done. You can
Yes,
make things really
exactly.
clean around the house with that stuff.
Yeah, it's like your brain saying, "Okay, yeah, I need to do laundry. I need this, but I need the Adderall to do it."
I recall a night probably like 10 years ago where I was on my Adderall and I did a bunch of cocaine one night. And for some
Same
reason, I
here.
just felt like getting really organized in my house. And I haven't told the
Was this in the
story
wee hours?
publicly. Yeah, this is in the wee hours. I packed up.
Exactly. That's when I did
I
my
bought a
cleaning
bunch of
too.
bins. I bought a bunch of bins at Walmart and brought them home. And I was like, I'm just gonna organize my place. I ended up packing up my entire place, like as if I was gonna move. And I ended up just having trouble finding anything the next day. I was like, I basically just put all my stuff into these organized bins, so my place looked empty, like somebody who's gonna move. But I was like, when I was coked out and on Adderall, I was like, this is organization. So it was embarrassing.
That's something like I would have done. Like when I told you I flipped my mom's house and I found an old box of Pokemon cards and I was organizing by numbers, like card
Yeah.
number 105, 807. Like I organized the whole thing and like took photos of them all, like in the wee hours. I was like,
Feel like I
sparked out
found a
my mind on that
Charizard. I
low.
can retire now.
I know, right? Like, let's see how much this one goes for, and like adding all the numbers, looking up all the values on eBay and stuff. And then I ended up just giving them away to someone.
Yeah, when it comes to Pokemon cards, I have this one
I know,
thing I
right?
regret. I had a Pokemon set and I didn't know much about them. They were a
Uh,
gift from somebody, and I traded a Charizard that was worth probably 50 grand now.
wow.
I traded it for a Hot Boys CD, if you remember the Hot Boys, Lil Wayne
Oh
and all
yeah.
them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I
I think
tra-
I ended up giving the cards to my nephew. Yeah, that was
yeah,
it. Yeah, he was like 10 at the time.
yeah. So I lost a lot on those Pokemon cards apparently, but
That the Digimon. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, I like Digimon more, but we're getting a little off topic. But you get the
that's all
point
good.
though.
I'm
Yeah,
ADD, right?
I know we both
Yep.
have it. That's why we fucking get along.
So was it like strictly uppers and pills, or were you like, did alcohol ever
Exactly.
become a big issue?
Mostly uppers and pills. That's what I was doing.
Okay,
And then
so
when I
no,
moved to Miami in my early 20s, I got addicted to the nightlife and like, oh, I need to take some Adderall. I'm gonna go out clubbing tonight at like 11 o'clock and go clubbing all night, and then just take another one in the morning to go to work at like 8 in the morning.
Jesus, I heard like nightlife in Miami and stuff is ridiculously
It's
crazy.
calmed down, but when I was in my early 20s, man, it was crazy. I had a lot of fun. Like I came to Miami for the first time. I was supposed to be here a week. I ended up staying 5 weeks. My dad kept calling me and be like, "When you coming home? When you coming home?" He was worried that I wasn't going to come home, and then I ended up moving here for good for a while. And then I went to LA to get clean,
Yeah, that's
doing
so.
geographicals.
So when did it get to that point where, say, there was this night where you feel like you had to get clean? Like, what was that kind of 24-hour period like beforehand?
Just realizing that I couldn't keep jobs anymore. My boss knowing there was something wrong. Where I was going, and it's like and struggling going to work at like 8 in the morning after being up all night clubbing and just like stuff like that. And just he could just see situations like that. And I had employers be like, Michael, we need to let you go. You know. And
Yeah.
then just running out of money when I was at a young age and almost being homeless, and so I'm like, okay, I need to get help with this.
So it started off like in the early 20s, you were able to function fairly well, at least manage it. And then the older
Yeah,
you
and
got,
then
the worse
downward
it got
spiral. That's what addiction is. First, we are able
every
to
time.
control them, and then it comes to a point where we can't.
Exactly. So what were some of the instances where later on where you said can you describe detail about like waking up in buses and overdosing there and
Oh,
what
that
that
didn't
was like?
happen till my 30s. That happened when I just moved back here. I've been in Florida for about 5 years now, and that happened just last time it happened was like 2 years ago. I got on the bus one day and just after doing garbage the night before and just blacking out on the bus and just going to the bus station, switching to another bus, and then going to the ER. And I just woke up in the ER. I don't even know how that happened. That's
Yeah.
happened twice now. And that once it happened at my aunt's house, my aunt was like, "How did you do that in a blackout?" I'm like, I don't even know how I did that. I have no intentions to go to the ER. Last I knew, I was just on a bus and just blacked out. It was
Yeah.
crazy. That's
Jesus.
when I knew. That's when I noticed. I'm like, okay, I can't be doing the Adderall anymore. I can't be, doing coke or any ups because if I do Adderall now, it's like my legs shake, like I'm convulsing.
Yeah. When was your last use exactly?
My last use was in June to the beginning of July. I just got 90 days, so I'm really on the right path and really trying
Congratulations.
this time.
That's awesome. Yeah, a girl we interviewed yesterday, with my co-host or whatever. She's about to hit 90 days too, and it's like those are the toughest 90 days. But like, it may not seem like a long time, but it also is a long time. And if you
It
have the right
is. Every day
attitude,
counts.
every
Exactly.
day, yeah, every day counts. Have you had many like long periods of sobriety and then fell off?
Yeah, I've had years clean, but it was like I was dry. I wasn't really working a program. I was just, switching addictions, switching it with food or hooking up with girls or just, switching addictions. Like
Yeah,
my major thing is it's still food. Like I struggle with food addiction a lot.
yeah. Okay, so like binge eating and stuff like that,
Yes,
or
exactly. I've had lipo like in my late 20s. I had lipo. I'm probably gonna have it again next year.
oh,
Like
okay,
yeah, it's great, but when I was in my early 30s, it used to be really bad. I used to eat to the point where I'd get really sick and just have to just lay on the floor until I'd have a bowel movement and then just feel better. But it's kind of calmed down a lot with that. And that hasn't happened in a few years.
do you
Or
think
binge eating at night, or going to Denny's at like 2 in the morning. Like that hasn't happened in a few years, thank God.
crazy? I actually do that on my own sometimes. I'll just go there and eat, and I take this sleep medication called Seroquel, and it gives you
I
like
used to
this.
do Seroquel, yeah.
Yeah,
I used to do
yeah,
that, and now I'm
and
on Remeron now.
it gives me the munchies, like as if I smoked a blunt or something. It's
I know
like I just
that were trazodone. You ever do trazodone? Trazodone's the
yeah,
same thing.
yeah. I'm
Trazodone sent me
prescribed
to the
trazodone,
ER.
but
I
I don't
can't do
take it anymore.
trazodone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes me hungry too. It's like okay, but I go to Denny's sometimes just because I like the peace in the middle of the night and stuff like that. It's kind of
I used
nice
to do
just
that a
to
lot in LA. When I was in LA, I'd go to Denny's at like 2 in the morning, get like steak and mashed potatoes. That was like
yeah.
my go-to, and I'd get it in twos. Like it was like an OCD thing. If it's something a food I like, I get it in twos. So I
Oh,
get
I
two of the same dish.
Yeah. But then after all that's said and done, you feel just like crap the next day, I assume, and just like
Yes, exactly.
loaded and everything. And you look like somebody, do you work out and stuff now and all that? And
Oh,
it seems
I
like
wish
you,
I worked out. Like I had a trainer when I was in Texas for a little bit, and
yeah.
I want to get back into it next year. I've been saying that for the last few years. Yo, that's my New Year's resolution. I'm gonna go back to the gym, and I'm gonna do it next year for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's been huge part of me is just getting into running and stuff. I
I
did
go for
that.
walks here and there, but that's about. I can go for walks and with my headphones and just go walk the beach, or because I live in Miami Beach, or go walk the park.
Yeah. I went to Florida for the first and only time ever a few weeks ago.
Which park did you go to?
What's it called? West Palm Beach.
Oh, that's not too far from me. It's nice up there. Yeah.
I'll probably end up going back there sometime in the next couple
Yeah, let
months.
me know. We can
So
hit a meeting next time you're
I'm
in
around.
town.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you gotta check out the Sobe room in South Beach. It's really fun. That's a really popular one.
Yeah, it's one thing I regret was I looked up a bunch of meetings, but I was like, I didn't have my own car, so I was just like, oh, this is a pain in the ass getting around, and it's expensive. I was only there for 2 nights, so it was a
Oh,
quick.
okay.
I was on another podcast, which it'll be coming out here in the
Which
next
one?
month or so. It's called the Kevin Lanning Rise Above. Kevin
Okay,
Lanning.
I'll look that up later.
Yeah, it's a pretty big recovery podcast. He's definitely an inspiration to me and other podcasters. So
There's so
I
many of them out there, though. That's one of the ideas for my app because there's so much content in different app and
yeah,
places. People don't know where to find it.
yeah, he's pretty big in the recovery world, and he just interviewed Bubba Sparks like last
Wow, I'll
week.
check that out
Yeah,
later.
I know. I was like, crap, man, Chevy Chase and a bunch of other people, but so then like all of a sudden I'm on the show. I'm like, okay, I don't feel
Ooh,
that
celebrity
important.
status. You balling.
Yeah, but yeah. So did you as a kid? Did you suffer from like? It sounds like it was kind of complicated, obviously, with the relationship with your dad and your mom. Like, did you grow up with like social anxiety or depression?
Yes. How do you
Yeah,
know? I swear,
can
you must be a
because
good doctor. You
I
must
think we
know
grew,
this stuff really good. I'm just
I
being
think we're
funny.
similar.
Yes, exactly. My nickname in high school was Mr. Antisocial because I wouldn't talk to any.
Yeah. That was me. That was me too. I was like, I played sports and I had friends and all that, but like in my head, I couldn't be around people, even though I put on this facade that I probably could a lot of the time.
I do that the same.
But
Yeah.
I was a quiet kid for the most part, though. I was pretty quiet. I didn't drink much. I mean, when I went out, I would be the designated driver. I wasn't like, I had friends, but I was never out of my shell until probably college. So when I started drinking. So
Now, did going to meetings help you break out of your social anxiety?
completely like,
Yeah, same here.
I actually, this last year is the first time in my life where I've legitimately felt comfortable in my own skin since I
Same
went to
here.
rehab and I was stuck inside this building with 20 other guys for a month, and you just start to really develop this comfort zone, finally, because you're with them every day, and then you're talking about serious things that you never thought you'd talk about. And then next thing you know, it's like once I got out of treatment, I started going back to meetings, and because I had a little bit of sobriety right before, and then I relapsed hard, and then finally decided to go to treatment, and then I went back to my meetings, and I just felt this whole nother level of comfort. Like I'd get up and talk in front of 50 people and stuff like that without a problem now, and I used to freak out about that kind of shit. So, um, so
Yeah, when
yeah,
I
like
first started going to meetings like 15 years ago, I wouldn't talk to anyone. I'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm nervous. What am I gonna say? Are they gonna like
same,
me?" Like,
same. I used to overthink all that stuff, and now I
mm-hmm.
chair meetings. Today, for instance, is my day that I chair every week, and I get to kind of come up with a topic and something that's usually fresh in my mind. Like today, my topic, I'm going to talk about victim mentality. I don't know if you have an opinion on having the victim mentality in the midst of your
Playing
addiction,
the
but
victim. Yep.
yeah, and that's what I did all the time growing up. I would blame everybody except myself. I would say my parents were complicated. My mom was a drunk.
You couldn't
My
take
dad was
ownership of your own problems.
yeah, exactly. My dad and I had a rough relationship too, so it's like he and I got in fights and literal fights, and we had our ups and downs, but now we have a great relationship. So
And
it's
that's how it
like
was with my dad. We never really
yeah,
fought, never argue. It's just perfect. Totally opposite of what I had with my mom.
okay. So you and your mom so you said the relationship with your mom obviously was the most strained besides.
When she was sober, we got along great, but when she wasn't, though, it was like, and we felt like a married couple. And then, when it started getting really bad, like it affected the relationship with me and my aunt because me and my aunt still don't talk because she'd be like, "Oh, Michael's doing this, Michael's doing that," just to get the heat off of her that she was high, so she wouldn't think our sister was getting high, so she would get the heat off her to me. Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
yep, that does make
She
sense.
could. My mom could have told my aunt that, "Oh, Michael's doing this. Michael robbed a bank," and she would have believed her. No questions asked. She had her like mind warped that I was causing all these problems when I wasn't. Me and my aunts still don't talk, and so I have two aunts.
Oh, okay, so you're fairly close with them, like developed kind of
One of
a
my aunts, yeah, I talked to one of
one of
my
my
aunts. Yeah.
okay. Okay. So with your mom, like, did you have a lot of resentment for a long time? And then when she passed away, you started to
Yeah, I
realize,
did, but it took me, in sobriety to learn that, okay, yeah, she had a problem and that it wasn't, she really, now I know as an adult, as someone who's struggling with addiction, that my mom did love me. She just had a problem. It was the addiction. It wasn't her.
Yeah,
It wasn't her
exactly.
being an evil person. It was a problem that she couldn't get help with. So that ended our relationship. I know my mom loved me. It's just I couldn't. You know, at the time I'm like, yeah, I hate my mom. She's doing all those problems. But now as an adult, I can see that okay, she just had a problem, and that interfered with her being a parent.
No, exactly.
Mm.
But what are some things that, like, say, when she, now that you can relate to her, because I mean I got it kind of lucky with my mother. Like, she was an alcoholic. I hardly remember her really being sober my entire childhood,
My
even in
mom
my,
was into opiates. Dilaudid
yeah.
was her major thing. Shooting Dilaudid was her thing. And just come home
Oh,
and
okay.
just find her like Pat nodded out. I'm like,
Oh, geez.
mm.
See, I can't relate to that. I mean, my mom, although she was a alcoholic, a pretty functioning alcoholic. I mean, she'd be out of it at night, and there was like no conversation.
Mm.
But she was always good to me. Like, it still treated me well. Like, she wasn't like an abusive drunk. She never has been. I got kind of lucky with that. She got sober around the first time I got sober, so she's been sober for like a year and a half now. If I wouldn't have relapsed, that would be my sober date. No, we have a good relationship. So, like, after she passed, and I don't want to go into sensitive subjects if you're not comfortable, so just
Oh, go ahead.
um
I'm an open
but
book.
like, what are some things that kind of went through your head as far as you know beside what you just told me, like forgiveness, and how you're going to use this as motivation for your own recovery and what you're doing now, kind of.
It taught me, just to not give up on people. Some people can change their lives around and some people can't. It affected my relationships with women. Like, I still have trust issues with women just because of what I went through with my mom. Like, it takes a while for me to open up with girls because I went
Yeah,
through with my mom. So my
keep
wall's
this
always
big
up when
guard
I
up.
date a girl. Yeah, my wall's always up.
Yeah, same. It's really tough for me to pull the guard down sometimes, and not just for trust from my mom, but just trust in past issues, relationships, just trust in general has always been an issue for me. So, like, what have the relationships? What were they like when you were using, and how are they like now? Like, with dating and all that stuff. Like, what's the difference?
When I'm sober, I have good relationship with people. When I'm not, it just pushes people away. They just don't want to talk to me.
Yeah,
But I haven't really heard a lot of people, because I was a person who used in private. Like, I did it in my apartment or I did it, isolated. Like, I'm a hermit, so I always use mostly alone. But once in a while, people would see me out and about and they can tell, yeah, I fucked up.
yeah, exactly. So, like, do you notice the longer you're kind of getting? I know it's been 90 days, but like the more
Mhm.
that you're, say, in recovery and stuff, do you start to figure out, like, hey, these are ways that when I do start dating again, because I'm sure they always say
Yeah.
that rule, like, don't date anybody
No
for the
dating
first
for the
year. So,
first year. I know I'm a
yeah,
little stir crazy by the end of the night,
I
by,
know,
by
and
next
I
summer.
I have different ideas on how I feel about that. I mean, I just think, like, if the right person comes along, maybe it's okay to test your feelers out there, because, like, you don't want to miss out on a good opportunity if
Yeah, I
just
agree
because
with
you're
that,
following a rule.
but it's just like, you got to work on yourself. What good are you to someone else if you don't have your own self in order? Does that make sense?
Exactly. You got to wait
That's
till
why
that's
I'm waiting for the year, but I'm gonna have my relationships with girls, but nothing serious till the first year. So, like, I have
yeah,
to go to London next year, and I'm not gonna be a hermit out there.
exactly. So, what are some of, like, the biggest improvements you're noticing about yourself so far, then, that you think, like, drastic improvements in your personality and how you're acting in the first 90 days? What's that like?
I'm more sociable. I'm more talkative with people, and I'm more of an what really surprised me in this sobriety. And I'm a morning person, which I was never a morning person. I wouldn't get up till like noon and be up till like 2 in the morning. But now it's like
Yeah,
I'm like this morning I woke up at 4, I had to do some stuff, and then came to the wellness center and was here at 8:30. Like, that's one of the
yeah.
things that surprised me in sobriety is becoming an early bird, like an early bird, which I was never before.
It's so cool. You do start to appreciate things like watching the sunrise and stuff,
I
and
know I
like,
do that on the beach. Yep.
when you're up, like, early in the morning, it's so peaceful. You're like one of the first people up in the world. And, like, I was talking to this guy I interviewed. I just released the episode yesterday, and he was just talking about, he's like, one thing I do in my sobriety now is I I wake up and I watch the sunrise and I have my coffee. I have this perfect little regimen every day I wake up,
Hmm.
and it's like, yes, me too. Like, lately I haven't been as good about my regimen, because I realized I used to have all this OCD about, if I don't do this a certain way, if I don't go about my morning a certain way, I'm going to have anxiety the rest of the
Your
day.
whole
And
day's off.
Yeah, my whole day's off. But then finally, the longer I've been sober, the less I've had to like be that fixated on it. So like I'm a little more flexible with myself now, which I think is good to have sometimes. Where like if I don't go to the gym, my day's not, you know, miserable or anything. Like I can finally skip the gym sometimes, which is actually nice. And yeah, so like it is nice though, like especially early in sobriety or forever. I mean, whatever works for whoever. It's
It's
different
the
for
little
everybody.
things that we take for granted in sobriety, like
Yeah,
watching the sunrise. Like when we're out using, we could care
we could
less.
give a shit less. I didn't even
Oh, I
want to
have
see the
some
sun.
beautiful photos of my from my apartment building of the sunrise. I'll just send those to you later. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
no,
views in Miami are really nice.
no, to me, and I'll
Send those,
pop them
yeah, I'll
up,
send the,
up
yeah.
on here on the episode too. So, and yeah, so you start to appreciate the little things, like, and I appreciate when I look forward to running errands now and like going shopping
Mm,
and stuff because now I'm actually comfortable being in those situations without drinking. Like I used to sit in parking lots and like pre-funk before I would do something really simple like go to a grocery store, and that's really sad. But now it's like now you can enjoy those things sober and actually function sober. It like makes everything like I've said many times, it's like you're a 16-year-old getting your driver's license. It's like everything's just new and fun and like fresh, you know?
exactly.
I mean, some
It's like
things
we're taking
do
the training wheels off.
have there been like, but kind of countering that idea, like, have there been things that since you've been sober that have been kind of tough to deal with, like little obstacles coming up here and there?
Not really, because I'm pretty good at solving problems. I'm a good thinker, so it's like, I'm pretty good with judgment and thinking things through. Like when I have a rough situation, I'm like, okay, how can I handle this? Like my first thought isn't like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna go use. When before that situation, I would be like, okay, yeah, I lost a job, fuck it, I'm gonna go relapse. I'm gonna go relapse and then go clubbing. But now it's like, I think of situations differently. I don't have the case of the fuck it.
Yeah, no case of the fuck. It's like
Mhm.
yesterday actually was my, not to make it about me again, but
Oh,
it
go
was
ahead.
probably one of my worst days I've had since I've been sober, just as far as anxiety goes and like overwhelmingness. And it was just all these things added up over the course of like a couple of hours. And I went to my meeting. I didn't even remember the meeting. That's how non-present I was.
Your
And
mind was somewhere else,
yeah,
totally ADD.
yeah, and like the thought of like, you know, the thought of alcohol crossed my mind for the first time in a long time, and I was just kind of shocked by it, and I kept thinking about it, and I was just like, yeah, this will give me like temporary relief, but I'm gonna hate myself after, and I know
You're
exactly
playing
where
the
I'll
tape
end up.
through.
Yeah, exactly. So just replaying the tape, and I was like, I know where I'll end up. I'll be back in the hospital. I'll be having seizures. I'll be back in hell again, and I don't want to do that. So I'm like, nothing can make me pick up the bottle. I swear, nothing will make me pick up the bottle. And once I told myself that enough, I was like, I don't even remember why I was so overwhelmed anymore. So
That's one of the things that, what we get in sobriety is our thinking changes and we able to play the tape through, which before would be like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to go do this. I don't care the consequences. But now it also comes with getting older. We're almost in our 40s, it comes with maturity as well.
I know, gosh, don't remind me. I can't believe
I know. I'm going to be
I
40
do
next
not
year.
feel, I don't feel like I'm going to be
I
40.
don't, I don't feel like I'm in my late 20s.
Jesus, I know it's crazy. Um, yeah, time flies, especially when we're using too. So, cause
These flew by quick for me.
yeah, yeah, I know. Like, I think
Faster than my 20s.
25 to 35 were like completely gone. I don't remember
Exactly.
very much of it, but so you like kind of what you're doing now working. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing, like where you're working right now, how that kind of helps you with your
I'm working
recovery?
Clubhouse of Florida, Key Clubhouse of Florida. That's like a mental health place for patients with mental health issues. I work in the billing department. I do in the computer work. I do payroll. So basically
Okay.
office admin work. I just started a few weeks ago. I like it.
Do you get to work with a lot of other people in recovery, I assume?
Yes, 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 exactly. I just got that job a few weeks ago and I like it.
Awesome, awesome.
Pretty
So
chill,
that's
laid back.
so can you give me a background, since that's what you're doing as your day job, but you have this other project coming up, which you told me a little bit
Yes.
about, and I find it so friggin' fascinating. So can you go into like how it
Everyone, yeah.
started?
So how it started was I was coming off a relapse about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and I was watching content in different apps like YouTube and like podcasts like yours and documentaries. And I was like, oh, this should just be an app for this. So all this content is scattered in different places. And I was like, oh, I should just make like a sober Netflix, like a streaming app with all this recovery content. Been sitting on the idea for a few years, and like this year, I was like, okay, this is the year I'm going to start it. Got the patent, got the LLC. And like I said, I didn't think I was getting the pad. I'm like, someone's got to have this idea. I can't be the only person in recovery that's come up with this because it's such a good idea.
Yeah,
And
it
then
is.
so like it's gonna have like podcasts like yours, entries, help support content like how to come back from a relapse, how to deal with cravings, stuff like that. And then a library of meetings, and then just people's stories from all around the world, whatever else we decided to throw in there. So
Awesome. Do you think you'll
we start building the app next year. So it should be out either the end of next year or sometime in 2027.
so cool? Do you think you'll have like kind of like Netflix where like you'll have different categories of different types of addictions and different types of recovery, or is it?
I was gonna start with AA and NA, and we'll just see where it goes. That's one of the ideas I did have, is to just start it in those addictions, and slowly, if it breaks off, and just break it into everything. That's
How
funny
did
you brought
the
that up.
yeah, no, that's just yeah, I full of random ideas, but I don't know
That
if they all would go in line with what your plan is. But I just think the idea of having a Netflix for people in recovery basically is a really cool
mhm.
idea. Like even
I
just like
can't believe it hasn't been done yet. I still have a hard time believing that I'm the only person in recovery that's come up with this idea. Like I said, when I went to get the patent, I'm like, someone's got to have this idea. I can't be the only person in recovery. I'm still having a hard time believing that I'm the only person that come up with it. Like,
hey, you're the first one,
I
and
know,
there's
right?
got to be a first, you know. So
I know it's
that's
got to be a first.
you're onto something. So
I know.
what's the
It's
goal
called
like launch date?
like I said, probably either the end of next year or sometime in 2027. I was told it takes like a year to make an app. Like I'm just learning, like I'm working with an app developer, and we start building it next year. And I have to go to
Awesome.
London next year to close my first business deal for it. So it's pretty cool. Like addiction's a worldwide thing, just like Netflix is worldwide. So I can go and travel to different countries and go get business deals. It's
That's
crazy.
so
It's
cool.
it's really taken off. I put my last podcast on my page, and it's blown up like all around the world. I'm getting coverage, like organizations like reaching out to me, wanting to work with me, and like I got like 57 views in one day, or 57 follows on Instagram in one day. It's crazy.
That's awesome. All right, kicking butt. So what's the give a shout out to the whole name and title and what's it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
called Recovery Raw, and then the page which you follow, you can put a link on my page is underscore Recovery Raw underscore.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
I'll be
Awesome.
putting clips from here on my page. So
Perfect. How much of your personal story do you think you'll share as far as promoting that and getting that out
good
there?
question. I haven't even thought of that yet. Probably my story and just clips from the podcast I'm doing. That's a good question. I didn't even think of that yet. I'll probably be sharing my own story with it. As that's a good idea. I didn't even think of that yet. Yeah, one
No,
step
yeah,
after me. Yeah.
I started to get that kind of idea in my own head. And the more longer I was doing the podcast, the more I was kind of realizing I'm not sharing a lot about myself. I was just interviewing other people. And then I started to like, interview people about some serious subjects, and it started to get me to open up about more about my past. And then I realized a lot of listeners need to hear that. A lot of people that are going to support your app are going to probably want to know where this all originated and
Yeah,
stuff.
maybe we can
Yeah.
do a whole video of just me telling my story and you just asking questions. We can film that sometime, and just that would be the video if you want, if you're
Heck
down
yeah.
to do that.
That would
Yeah.
be awesome. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
awesome. I'd be happy to help that and do that. That'd
Like
be
I'm being
cool.
interviewed like a like a newscast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
No,
that'd
that
be
would be
cool.
great. I'll be down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to keep working together a little
Yeah.
bit,
Yeah,
and
sure. I'm totally interested.
yeah, I'm curious to see kind of how the app takes off and where it goes, and I'm
Yeah,
happy
it's
to.
gotten a lot of interest. I have to email the general service office at AA later today. It's gotten that far. It's gotten all the way up there now.
Awesome. So, like, it sounds like AA is going to be a big part of it, and I used to like bleep out AA in my first episodes. I don't know if you heard the first few episodes because I was worried about like old timers, being wondering about AA being
They
talked
say that
about.
like, oh, this is an AA me, not an NA. Yeah, they're so like anal about that.
Yeah, exactly. And I just like bleeped it out because I was like, I don't want them to get mad that I'm talking about it on a podcast. But it's like I'm not talking about names. I'm not saying specifics that I talk
Yeah,
about them.
but it's like it's the same message whether it's
Yeah.
AA or NA. It's still
And
the same message, you know.
and it helps a lot of people, and some people it doesn't work, and I totally understand that.
Hmm.
And but it works for me. It seems to work for
Hmm.
you, and that's something
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
happy to share with the world because I didn't believe in it for a long time. I went to my first meeting ever
That's how I was. I'm
completely
just
shit
finally
faced and on
doing
coke.
steps now.
Yeah.
I'm going to meetings off and on for 15 years, and I'm finally doing steps now. I was always like, oh, I don't need to do the steps. I'm good. I don't need to do the steps. And I'm finally doing steps after like almost 15 years of going to meetings. I'm finally doing steps.
That's awesome. What's been the most standout step that you've been working on that's made the biggest difference? What's that been like?
Oh, that step, was it 2 or 3 when you start praying and believing that a power greater than yourself? Was that 2 or 3?
Jesus, I am horrible with the memorize.
Yeah,
I
that's the
chair
one. Like,
meetings and I always have mind blanks
it's
on
either
like the
two or
order.
three when you believe you turn your life over to a care greater than yourself.
Yeah,
That's 2 or 3. That's what I'm
yeah,
starting to believe, that there is something out there that's helping me get to where I need to be.
yeah. Mine's been taking inventory, like just kind of.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
that's. I feel like that one's gonna be going on forever because I just have so much stuff that I need to like, you know, from the past, learn from, process it, stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
yeah, but yeah. So the majority of your people you spend time with now, I assume you've gotten out of that, that club scene from the past and all
Yes, I
that.
haven't been in a
So
club scene. I haven't been in a
yeah,
club in a while, and I'm hanging out with sober supports and you
yeah.
know the
And
right people.
you have like a sponsor and everything like that.
Yeah, shout out to my boy Dennis. Yeah, I've known him. He's got like 12 years clean.
Awesome. I hope he gets to listen to this and
Yeah.
see that. But yeah, so is there like as far as looking back to like childhood and now, like are there still like certain things that still creep up from the childhood that still kind of affect you now? Like do you ever feel that anxiety come on from the past, like reflecting back on it, with like your mom?
No, I don't deal with that. But when I used to deal with that with using, like I would have like anxiety when would use, like I would have like flashbacks to times where I'd used before, but that hasn't happened in years. So that was one of the things I struggled with when I was in LA.
Were there any like serious traumas that you're okay with sharing from your childhood, like ones that stand out?
No, not really. Like I said, I grew up when my mom was an active addict, and so I was basically spoiled with everything I wanted. So it was like the TV was my babysitter, the PlayStation was my babysitter,
Yeah, yeah, I had all
or
the
the
video game
Sega.
systems.
Yeah,
So yeah,
we're going way back. We're kicking it back to
Sonic.
Sega.
Yeah,
Sonic was
Sonic.
the shit, man. I love Sonic. Sonic and Tomb Raider, like my that was my main thing, is Lara Croft. I still play
Yeah,
Tomb Raider.
Sonic on Sega Genesis. That was my thing. So remember those days. Yeah, we're the same age, so we probably got the
Yeah,
same systems at the same time. So
exactly.
then the PS1 came out, and I got Triple Play Baseball and NBA Live and all that stuff. So
Crash Bandicoot, man, that
Crash
was the one I
Bandicoot.
was into. Yeah,
Yeah, that was a good
I
one.
stopped gaming when like the 360 came out. I kind of was getting bored by then.
Yeah, I played a little Madden in my adult life, but then sold my
Uh,
system because I didn't use it enough. Are you? Do you like follow sports and all that stuff?
No, I don't follow sports.
Not a big
People are like,
sports
"Oh, you're
guy.
from Boston. You don't follow sports?" No,
I know
not
that's
really.
shocking. I'm shocked.
I
I'm
know it
like
is
a
shocking.
Patriot fan, Celtic
Nope,
fan. No, nope,
nope.
none of that. So, like, what's in your free time besides designing the app and stuff? What are some of the like other ways besides AA and all that that you're staying in a healthy mindset, staying busy?
I'm going for jogs around the beach. I'm hanging out with friends, going to the movies. Just doing fun stuff that would keep my mind off of using. I don't really have cravings. I feel like the obsession for using has finally been lifted. So I'm doing
Are
pretty
you
good.
when you're hanging out with friends? Are you constantly around people that are in support of your sobriety? Are there any people that
Yes,
still
I
kind
hang
of
out with
test
sober
it?
supports. Yeah, I don't hang
Okay.
out. I was hanging around with someone that was using, and then my counselor, shout out to Tony Carrera, taught me out of hanging around with a girl that was using. Like I was like thinking, like, if I'm strong enough in my recovery, I can stay around a girl that's using. But my counselor talked me out of that. I was just completed IOP this summer.
Wow, awesome. So you're hanging around good people
Yeah,
and you're not putting yourself in any situations that are risky or anything like that or anything
correct.
that would test your sobriety. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
one of the things I found helpful this time around was like I think you were talking about being like a dry addict or whatever. Tried that every time I tried to quit for like 10 years, I would just try to just stop it, and just I'm not doing the drug, I'm not drinking, so that's enough, but I wouldn't change any of my behavior or my actions or who I surrounded myself with. So did you ever find it difficult to like set boundaries or cut some people off? Did you have to do that a lot? Like
Yes, people like when I was in LA, because LA is really toxic. Like people I was using with and people I was doing garbage with, and just I had to cut those off. That's funny. I actually I've been keeping like a notepad like on the iPhone and just like different topics for the support content ad, and that's one of the things I've written down today is like how to cut off people that are using and stuff like that. That's funny you brought
yeah.
that up because it's like whenever I have these random thoughts for content ideas. I put it in the notepad app on the phone, and I have this long list of like content ideas, and I just literally just wrote that down like 2 hours ago. That's funny you brought that up.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's what I'm always doing too, taking notes on like what
Yeah,
different topics on this show I would want to do and kind of people I
and
want
then
to look in
topics
it.
I hear at meetings too. Yeah,
Yeah, and just writing the stuff down sometimes gets it embedded to your head. You don't even have to look back at the notes. You just remember just
yeah. It's
because you
just
wrote it
ideas
down.
for content when we start making the app next year or so.
Exactly. So that's awesome. So that's taken up it seems like it's taken up I mean, just working on this podcast kind of, I think would be the same for you working on that app, like the fact that it's work, it doesn't really feel like work because you're
It's
passionate
fun
about
work
it.
though. It's fun
It's
work.
fun work. Yeah. Like you're enjoying doing it and it probably is helping with your recovery, I assume.
Yes,
Just
that's what my counselor was telling me. He's like, you need to keep doing this because it's going to be good for your sobriety.
it is. I mean, you're gonna have a lot of people that are gonna be looking up to you and what you're doing and what the
Uh,
project is that you're working on, and you're doing it for people that need that support and want it, and then it just motivates you to want to stay strong and stay on the up and up because
hmm
you want to be leading people and setting by example as much as you can, and then just a whole reason right there to not slip up because you want to stay on that track because people are looking up to you. I don't know if
Yeah,
people look up to me or anything. I don't think I'm anything special. I just think that like I wouldn't be able to do this podcast about recovery if I wasn't practicing my
sober,
recovery.
exactly. Yeah, I had
Yeah,
someone who reached out to me in the Philippines. I'll just send you the message. He's like, I saw your video and, I found that really inspiring. Hopefully you can get some help for us in the Philippines with your app. I was like, okay.
that's
I'll just send
awesome.
you the
See,
message. Yeah, they messaged me on Instagram like about a week ago. I'll send you the
that's so
message.
cool. Yeah, send it. I'll pop that up
Yeah.
on the screen too. But it's we're going global. Like I was so excited when I was doing my show, and then people from like the UK and
Yeah, that's why I
Australia and
got a lot
stuff
of
were
interest
reaching.
over in the UK. That's why I had to close my first deal next year.
That's so cool that you have all these things already kind of getting set up for you. It's like already
Yeah.
set up for success. And do you think you'll kind of branch out to like this might be ahead of it, but like merch and stuff like that, like recovery raw merch or anything?
I had ideas for merch, but it was like the ideas I was coming with, like the T-shirt with the logo or hat,
Yeah,
or I'm like, now that's boring. Like I want to come up with with good merch ideas, but the only one I come up with as good is like I call it like the newcomer starter packet, where it's like comes with like a packet. It'll be like a big book, a notebook, pens and paper, highlighter, like all your stuff to do your step work when you first get sober. That's the only idea I've come up with.
that's still pretty cool though. Like for
Yeah, I haven't
especially
seen
for
that
people.
done yet. It's like all together in one packet.
That's awesome. So it is going to be a lot of it focused on what you learned, like in meetings and like through the AA program and stuff. But it'll still be attractive to people that aren't about the AA and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean,
Because because one of our main target audiences is going to be people that don't want to go to rehab. They're going to want to watch the app, because it's going to help people, that are trying to get sober and help them maintain sobriety.
exactly. Okay. Do you see yourself? Are you gonna? So you're gonna do your own podcast, and are you
I
gonna be
don't know.
having?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that could happen. I don't know. We'll see
That's
where
part of
sobriety
the.
takes me. You never know.
But hey, that might be good because, like, if you have your own episodes up from your own podcast and have it on your own app, people are kind of like, okay, I want to know the guy that, that's behind all of this,
I didn't
and
think of
then
that.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
did have an idea about like one content idea for the app where it's just like a live thing each week where people like ask recovery questions and like get like recovery advice. But maybe I could be like one of the people on there. That's funny you brought that up because I really just saw that like a few days ago.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm here for ideas, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's what it sounds like. God brought us together for a reason, right?
Yeah,
Thank the internet.
exactly. No, I believe in that stuff. Like there's been,
Yeah.
a
Law of
few people
attraction.
I've met on through this since I started the podcast where I'm just kind of like, man, this was like meant to
Meant to
happen. We all
be. Yeah.
we're thinking the same, yeah. And we all want the same thing, which is great. We're sitting here, both you and I. We have what, a year and 3 months of sobriety between us. I mean, that's a long time. That's a long time. And here we are doing a podcast. And you were just talking about advice. So one ways I like to close off a lot of my interviews is what advice would you give to somebody in recovering right now or who's struggling right now, sober curious?
Reach out for help. Go to a meeting. Well, there's a lot of support out there, but you just got to be willing to pick up the phone or go to a meeting and ask for help. Because that's one of the things that people struggle with is asking for help. That's something I would struggle with. Like when I was struggling, I wouldn't pick up the phone and tell my sponsor, "Oh, I'm struggling. I want to use it." I would just do it. I wouldn't. Ask for help was a major thing I struggled with, and I hear a lot of people that's their stories as well.
Awesome. That's good advice. Is there a quote that you live by that you'd like to share? Anything that you kind of wake up in the morning and you think like there's a quote, Bible verse, something like that?
No, I'm not a big Bible thumper.
Oh, okay, cool. Like, at least did you get a lot of like spiritual awakening or anything like that since you've been going to meetings and stuff? Like, how's your spiritual life been?
I
Higher
noticed,
power.
yeah, I noticed my mom's around me a lot more lately, so I know when she's around. Like, I could be in a building and just drops of water fall on me from nowhere, and I know that's my mom because she loved the beach. So it sounds strange, but I know that's one of her signs of her coming around.
If she this might be a difficult question, but I think about this with my sister, if she's looking over me, what do you think she would say to you right now? Like how proud of you do you think she would be right now and how happy you'd
I
be?
would say she would say she's proud of me. Just keep up the good work. I'm on the path to success, and it's only going to get better from here.
That's good. It sounds like she's been a big reason for you doing this, a huge inspiration, just like my sister. So that's really admirable and cool that you're doing it and you're turning it into your career to make it about
I know.
recovery. And you can tell, like, I've talked to a lot of people fresh in recovery and stuff, and you can always see it in their eyes of how serious and excited they are about the
Mm,
recovery this time around, because it's like, I relapsed 100 times trying to
yep,
quit, but you can just tell the difference sometimes, like when somebody is completely devoted to it and they've got the right
exactly.
mindset. Yeah, and I can tell that's what you got too, so it's awesome.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we
No,
kind of cut off? I
no,
mean,
I think we covered everything. I think I did a good job, or
you
hopefully I
did a
did a
great
good job.
job.
Hopefully
No,
I didn't bore anyone.
you did a great job.
Okay, cool.
We bounced back and forth perfect, so
I
this
know,
is great.
right? Cool.
Really appreciate you being on the show, and I'd love to have you again on someday about
Yeah, I can. Yeah, sure,
maybe some topics we could, maybe if you're okay with talking about your mom a little more, and we could
sure.
talk about grief and stuff like that or something.
Grief and loss. Yeah, that's one of the things we talked about when I went to rehab. That was a group of them group
Yeah,
that went to. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm happy to
just
do it. To do it, just give me a heads
awesome.
up.
I appreciate you, Mike. I will definitely keep in touch with you. I want to hear more update on kind of like how the app's going and when
Yep.
you
Well,
do
like I said, we
release
start
it.
building the app next year. I have to go to London, and it's crazy. If you would have told me this when I went to rehab for like 15 years ago for the first time, I'd be doing this. I'd be like, "Yeah, you're crazy. I wouldn't have believed you at all."
I know it's all about timing, like we weren't meant
Exactly.
to do all this 10 years ago. We had to learn, we had to go through the trials and tribulations, but
Exactly.
here we are
Ups and
now,
downs.
we're
Uh-huh.
38, and we're turning our lives around, and it's better late than
Hmm.
never. But, for a lot of people, this is actually pretty early, we got a lot of life to live.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So thank you so much, man. It's been awesome talking to you. And
Yes. Keep in
I'll,
touch. Yes.
yep, I'll keep in touch with you, and I'll give you a heads up before I release the episode and everything.
When do you
So
think it's going to come out?
I'm thinking middle of next week.
Oh, wow, that quick? Okay, cool. Yeah. And I'll email you the stuff later today.
Yeah, it might be either Wednesday of next week or Sunday night episode. So
Cool. That sounds good to me.
yeah.
Rock Bottom with Ryan. No bullshit, just recovery.